Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and today we welcome the New England Wildlife Center to the program. We'll learn about their summer activities and a new membership program. First, though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, it is overcast, 70 degrees right now. We'll see some showers off and on throughout the day today. Temperatures in the low 70s. The heavier, steadier rain moves in later on tonight during the overnight hours. Lows tonight drop into the mid-60s. The rain will persist through tomorrow morning and then taper off to some showers in the afternoon. Could be a couple of rumbles of thunder as well. Highs tomorrow only in the upper 60s. Right back to summertime on Wednesday. Sun and clouds and a high in the upper 70s, and pretty warm here on Thursday with sun and clouds. Thursday's highs in the upper 80s. Friday looks warm as well too right now, but again cloudy and 70 in Quincy. Checking out the news for you today, Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says that he will find an alternate source of funding to allow Dave McCarthy to keep his job as director of Quincy's Emergency Management Department. The City Council voted to eliminate almost $174,000 from the department, including almost $117,000 for McCarthy's salary. Koch says he believes that department is crucial for public safety.
We've been in touch with MEMA and FEMA. Both agencies are very concerned because this community is very susceptible with all our waterfront and coastal, and of course, with the emergency management, it's not just when a storm happens, but it's the preparation for it, work with police and fire. It's the monitoring the hazardous materials and locations in our city. It's the constant updating on the hazardous plans, meeting guidelines with MEMA and FEMA. But also, when we do have an event, it's emergency management that follows up the paperwork to get reimbursement. So there's a lot of responsibility there, and it's my intention to keep the position and funding it a different way. The council can cut the funding, but they can't cut a position under our charter. So under the law, I'll be able to, I think, fund it through other sources. But I'm trying to get that resolved this week.
Council did vote 6-3 in favor of eliminating the Emergency Management Department, with those in favor of that cut saying the department was redundant and that its duties could be handled by the police and fire departments. The mayor said the funding will likely come from the police and fire department budgets. Now, the issue of a ballot question dealing with salaries for Quincy's elected officials is headed back to court. A hearing has been scheduled for September 18th in Norfolk Superior Court to determine the next steps in the case now that Quincy Citizens for Fair Raises has enough signatures to place the question on the November 2027 ballot. Attorneys for the group and for the city jointly requested the court hearing, first to make sure that they followed a judge's instructions when reviewing the names on the ballot petition initiative, second to ask the judge how to move forward after the judge ordered the city to consider the printed names on the ballot petition. It was determined that there were enough valid signatures to move the petition forward. Now, the ballot question would ask voters if they want to set the mayor's salary at $183,000 and allow for 2% annual raises for all elected officials. The City Council will take up the salary issue in the fall after repealing the raises that were approved back in 2024. The Attorney General's office says it will not review an open meeting law complaint filed against the Quincy City Council by Ann Walker during the public comment period of the March 23rd meeting at City Hall. Walker claimed that City Council President Ann Mahoney violated the open meeting law by not allowing her to speak directly to Councilor at Large Susan Yuan.
And tonight with you, what is that, Councilor Wuan?
I'm not going to talk to you can talk to me individually.
Okay, I'll talk to you as a board. Then as a city council, I can do what I want during the public speaking.
I'm going to ask you to stop. I had you address me. I have no problem with you addressing me.
And I will address it as the board.
Please do not address the individual
Last week
councilors.
was a disgrace to your firefighters.
Walker was allowed to finish her comments to the entire council. However, she claimed Mahoney violated the open meeting law with that interruption. The Attorney General said Walker may have a case that her free speech rights were violated, but the state says those are not covered under the open meeting law. An online fundraiser is now underway to help install a security system at the historic Blue Hills Weather Observatory in Milton after vandals smashed several windows in the building last week. The damage was discovered early last Tuesday morning as several rocks were found inside the building. Observatory officials say no equipment or weather records were damaged. However, the observatory was closed to the public for 3 days last week until repairs were made. Every window and a door was also smashed in at the Blue Hills ski area at the foot of the Blue Hills. The observatory hopes to raise $9,000 to install a security system. The state police continue to investigate that vandalism. Interfaith Social Services here in Quincy says it's distributed more than 17,000 books to children across the South Shore for summer reading. Interfaith provides its food pantry clients with a bag of age-appropriate books for children up to age 12 during their visits to the food pantry. The Spadia family has run a children's book drive every spring for several years. They recently dropped off 3 shopping carts full of books at Interfaith's headquarters on Adams Street. Interfaith says it accepts gently used books for children and adults that it sells through its Bureau Drawer thrift shop. They also have a book wish list on Amazon. Now, the city of Quincy certainly celebrated America 250 over the 4th of July holiday with several large and some small events, too. It all started with the America 250 patriotic celebration on the Hancock Adams Common in Quincy Center last Thursday, featuring live music, historic exhibits, even a recreation of Paul Revere's ride. Then Friday kicked off the annual Maritime Festival at Marina Bay, which included a reading of the Declaration of Independence, live music, family and children's activities. And neighborhoods also held their annual Independence Day festivities, including the Squantum Road Race, the flag raising and parade, a flag raising on Adams Shore as well, and of course the annual Merrymount 4th of July parade. The Adams National Historical Park also held special events commemorating America 250. It's not over yet. Next up, a Dutch tall ship scheduled to visit Marina Bay on July 17th and 18th. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, the New England Wildlife Center has a full schedule of events planned for this summer. We will get some of the details next. Welcome back. Well, by now the kids have been out of school for a little over a week, so chances are they're bored. Well, we have the solution for you at the New England Wildlife Center in Weymouth. Many different programs and a new membership program is available. President Katrina Bergman is here, and a face and a name may be familiar to folks here in Quincy, Brett Hale. So ladies, welcome and happy summer.
Oh, happy summer to you. Happy summer here.
Great to see you both. Katrina,
so
nice to meet you for the first time.
Very nice to meet you. I've heard so many wonderful things about you.
Likewise. In the center itself, a president, but you've been there for 30 plus years?
Yes,
really?
I have.
Wow.
Yes, I have. I've been there since, our old days in Hingham.
Yeah.
We were in an old Army ammunition, actually a flashing testing center for munitions. And yes. And then we were able to raise the funds to build where we are in Weymouth, and eventually
just
staying
down
in the
in
Cape.
Columbian Square, kind of a little south of Columbian Square, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most recently, we were able to conserve 38 acres of land. A developer donated to the Wildlife Center. So,
wonderful.
yeah, we love wildlife and we love people.
Yeah, for folks who maybe don't know about the center, could you give us just kind of a brief overview?
I would love to.
Yeah.
So New England Wildlife Center, we actually had our 40th anniversary last year, so I think we're 41 now, perhaps 42. We sometimes get confused. We celebrated our 40th on our 41st birthday.
Okay.
So we have been around, and our primary mission is to help sick, injured, and orphaned wild animals to get back to the wild. And the top reasons why they come into us, they've been hit by a car, they've been drug in by the household cat, or they've been poisoned by something like the deadly rodenticide or other toxins in our environment. And then what we like to do is to use that. So So it doesn't end there. We use that to educate and to teach and to train, because oftentimes folks who like animals don't necessarily like people a whole lot. And we want folks to conserve the nature where we all live, to help wildlife, and to like each other. You know, so at New England Wildlife Center, you know, you walk through the door and it's a different kind of place. You just feel it. You walk right in and you'll be greeted by the walking around dogs. And those are dogs that accompany our staff and some of our volunteers to work every day.
Sure.
And so it's not just about the animals, it's also about the people. And when you walk into Weymouth, everything is windowed. And it's windowed for a reason. It's windowed as an invitation to come on in and help and participate and be part of. So one of my favorite ways of describing who we are at New England Wildlife Center happened a few years ago when I was walking down the hall and I noticed one of our education programs provides training to nonviolent inmates. And I noticed one of our high school students was learning from one of our nonviolent inmates how to feed a baby bird. And in turn, there was an undergraduate intern who was brand new, who was also learning. And right outside of the window was a whole class from the Horace Mann School for the Deaf. And they were looking in at what was happening, and their teacher was signing to them. And so that is the spirit of who and what New England Wildlife Center is.
Yes, you're a private nonprofit, 501c3 corporation.
501c3, we depend upon, our budget's about $3 million. We depend only on donations. That's why our new membership program is so important.
Yes.
We really need individual donors, and that's how we stay alive. That's how we release animals back to the wild and keep a robust nonprofit going.
Yeah, you know, we hear in the news all the time when there's an injured animal from some circumstance. The New England Wildlife Center is caring for that animal. Now we know the people behind the name. You know? And Brett, there are, I guess, 3 different membership levels that you're launching?
So we just kind of relaunched the membership program this year to include these 3 tiers, so families and folks could decide which aligned best with what they felt was good for them. And so our 3 tiers have all different types of perks that go along with them. What makes the Wildlife Center so special is people coming in and immediately feeling like home, like Katrina was saying. They come in and it's just a different environment. So we really focus on the activities that people can gain through the membership. So you come in, you experience the Wildlife Center, whether it's shadowing the vet for a day, you can see appointments, you can see surgery, be in the operating room with our vets. You can meet Falco, our red-tailed hawk. He's one of our educational animals, so he's a classic at the Wildlife Center. You walk in and he's right on the left in his enclosure. Yes. So we really have a lot of options for people to see what works for them, come in and do the activities in-house with us. So things like guided nature walks, the 2 I just mentioned. But
Feed the Patients. Feed the Patients is a popular program.
I would think so.
Under our membership program.
Kids love to feed animals, right?
Right.
But adults too.
Definitely.
And the membership program itself is, it helps us, but it also helps the families and the communities because they get to do so much more. The Wildlife Center always has a lot to do.
Yep.
You can see the goats when you come in. You can come in and pay $5 for a tour of the center. This summer we have STEM summer at New England Wildlife Center. And you're learning how to use a microscope. You're learning how to keep yourself safe during every season is tick season now, but keep yourself safe in the woods from ticks. So there's a whole host of things happening every Tuesday from
tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow from 11 to 1:30. But if you're a member, you can do even more. And so it's not just helping, it's how many other things you get to do as a member of New England Wildlife Center.
Yeah, but this is probably one of, if not the most affordable program that folks can take part in this summer. $5 for admission or $5 per child for a STEM class. That's incredible. I mean, you can't get an ice cream cone.
No, you can't, right? Or a cup of coffee.
Well,
right,
exactly. So I mean, and just the programs that you offer. You mentioned Falco, so meet and greet Falco, but as well, there's also things like Jasmine meet and greet, story times and crafts, right?
Jasmine would be a snake.
Jasmine the snake.
Our ball python.
something for everyone, really.
Yeah.
And
It
Brett,
really is.
these are important because I know you've seen a tremendous increase in the number of animals you're caring for at the center, right?
We have, and so that's part of what we wanted to share with everyone, is that by supporting our membership, by becoming a member of the Wildlife Centers, you're joining our family, but you're also allowing us to continue the very important work we do with taking care of wildlife and education. So I know this year has been, the past few years have just been steadily increasing the amount of wildlife we are taking in. It's been a very busy hospital.
Sure.
Yes.
You know what? Let's tell them about the flying squirrel.
The flying squirrel.
So we've been up 22% in terms of a wildlife intake at our Weymouth Hospital since 2024. And actually this was at our Cape Hospital, but we recently had a young, I don't know how old she was.
Aspiring veterinarian.
Yes. So she was an aspiring veterinarian. They have a bird feeder out in their yard, and they have a pack of flying squirrels that live there. And unfortunately, one of them got stuck in the bird feeder. His little head was stuck in there. And so she and her mom very kindly brought the flying squirrel to our Cape Wildlife Hospital.
Okay.
And our wildlife veterinarian was able to kind of show her what they do, show her behind the scenes, and do the exam, I believe, with her there, or showing her along, and so she could be right involved with this wildlife case, as she's a aspiring wildlife veterinarian.
Yeah.
And they put the flying squirrel under anesthesia, and were able to get his little head out, her head out, and then they were able to did an exam. Flying squirrel was okay, and then the little girl got to take the squirrel home, release it in your yard, and she named him Bird Feeder.
Of course.
As one does.
Appropriate, right. Let's hope the bird feeder doesn't get stuck in the bird feeder again, right?
Right.
But what an inspiring story, and who knows, that youngster, may grow up to be a veterinarian or some kind of a wildlife advocate. You just don't know where it could lead to.
Exactly where it starts, right?
Yeah.
We also had a fox we've just taken in that was found in a wood pile.
Okay.
That was covered in mud, little baby, little orphan, and we told the folks who had seen the fox to just leave it, wait to see, because there's a lot of wildlife kidnapping. It's a big problem. People think they're saving the baby when really they're kidnapped it because mom was coming back. It's a real problem with baby bunnies.
Right. So
And
well-meaning but ill-informed.
Exactly,
Okay,
well-intentioned, but and so a lot of times when people come in, if they don't call first, we're always saying, okay, we're going to go put that animal back, and we're going to tell you exactly how to do it.
I see.
And anyway, this truly was an orphan, and so she's now joined our other orphan fox on the Cape. Our Cape Center.
Yes, we have a picture of the fox we can show folks, actually.
Great.
While we're talking about, was the fox given a name?
I don't think so.
No,
There's
okay.
sort of debate on that.
Okay. But there's the fox.
Yes, there she is, all cleaned up. Is she adorable?
But she's too young to release right now, is that right?
She is,
Okay.
yes. So in the fall, they'll be released together, and oftentimes they imprint very easily, and that means that they attach themselves to humans.
Which is not a good thing.
Which is not a good thing
Yeah.
at all, especially if you're a fox or coyote or a mesocarnivore. So she is with another fox, and they'll be able to be released at the end of the summer, so into the fall. And really, as singletons, they don't do as well because of the imprinting, and so they'll be able to teach each other how to be foxes.
Okay.
And they'll get their cues from one another, just like Brett was saying earlier, and they'll go off together and live a happy life.
Yeah. Now,
hopefully.
where's your Cape Center, Katrina?
Our Cape Center is in Barnstable.
Barnstable,
Yes,
okay.
at 411 Main Street in Barnstable.
Okay.
So it's on Cape Cod.
Sure.
And it's been under New England Wildlife Center's wing now for about 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's amazing to me how time flies.
Yes.
Yeah, they were closing, HSUS was closing it, and I made a phone call and said, how can we help?
Yeah.
And,
Careful what you wish for, right?
Right, it was one of those kind of situations, Joe, exactly. And so now Cape Wildlife Center is under New England Wildlife Center's wing, so to
Okay,
say.
all right.
Yes,
And I'm guessing they probably see a different variety of animals there on the Cape?
They have a lot of sexier animals, I will say.
Okay.
They do, yes, because they see more osprey, and although we do have a lot of osprey around here, but and they also during storms have a lot more of the wildlife, especially birds get blown in, et cetera, and that's why one of our campaigns right now, and we're almost there. If anybody wants to donate to New England Wildlife Center and direct their funds to our brand new first in the Northeast, and definitely in our region, it's a wildlife mass casualty facility that will help animals who are injured in oil spills, who are victims of these horrible storms that we've had.
Yes.
And really rabies. We've seen sort of an uptick in rabies. And so those kind of the animals that would be most likely to carry rabies, raccoons and those kinds of things, we need more space to care for them.
Okay.
And this facility itself we've become a first responder in oil spills. And this facility will allow us to do more training in that regard, and also to do more of the washing, the special housing that these birds need before they go back out in other animals. So yes, it's 1.3 million, and we're at about 9 million now. So
all right.
we need to finish this campaign because it's really, really important.
Okay, good to know.
So
Good
yes,
to know.
yeah, you made me think of it, Joe. I wasn't even thinking of that. I'm always thinking about fundraising.
Let's talk about the owl story. Tell me about the owl story.
So we do a lot of renesting in our wildlife rescue branch, and so recently there was a great horned owl's nest in Plymouth at a golf course in Plymouth, and 2 of the owlets actually fell out of their nest, unfortunately, but luckily our team was able to rush over. We have our wildlife rescue van. They assessed both owls out in the field, and great horned owls typically make their nests 40 to 70 feet up in the trees, so we immediately knew there was a chance for injury. And so they examined the first owl, who was healthy, luckily, and we successfully re-nested him back up. We actually made a makeshift nest since we were worried there might be damage to the original one. It was successful because we kept an eye, we put cameras around, and so we know Mom came back and started caring for
very
him.
good. Okay.
And we took the other one back because we did find a wing injury that we needed surgery to kind of help try and heal this owl.
Yeah,
so,
let's show folks.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the owlet, I guess, right?
Yes.
Owlet,
Yeah.
little baby,
So the
yes.
one everyone is seeing now was the one who went back in the nest, which is amazing. We love a happy rehoming story.
Certainly, yeah. for
Yes.
Sure. But the other one,
He is back at. He's being
an
cared
education
for.
animal.
Yes.
Yes, he's being cared for by a sister organization,
Oh, okay.
Eyes on Owls, which is a great organization, and will be used in education and help teach people about owls. One of the really neat things about owl moms is that they don't count how many young they have. They're really bad counters, and they're a lot kinder than some humans, and they'll take on an extra.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, all
so
right.
sometimes we can put in another baby owlet that didn't necessarily come from that nest.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so that's really
Okay.
interesting. Another interesting fact is that one of our rescuer, or our dedicated rescue person, is training to be a tree climber.
Okay.
So that she can get further up.
Really?
I do not think that's something I would do.
70 feet in the air.
Yeah, right. So she's terrific, Ava. Yes, so she's terrific, and she's training to be a tree climber, so we
Okay.
can do more.
Now, are there volunteer opportunities at the center, Katrina?
Yes, there are volunteer
Okay.
opportunities at the Wildlife Center, and usually it's volunteer days.
Okay.
Because we don't have one designated person that's only volunteers. If we're not managing the program, it's managing us, I like to say.
Sure, yeah.
So normally it's either on Facebook, on our website, or you can call up too to find out when volunteer days are. And if you hang around the Wildlife Center long enough and want to volunteer, generally you're welcomed in as a volunteer. I
You'll
will
find
just say that.
Something to keep them busy,
So
right? Yeah.
folks who are interested in at home, who are part of our community, who are in there a lot. So.
Yeah, and I know there are internship opportunities.
Oh,
because
that's our
Brett
biggest.
is a product
That's
of that.
right. That's right. We're very lucky that Brett's with us, and she started at New England Wildlife Center as an intern. That's our ultimate volunteer opportunity. Actually, is undergraduate interns come to us from all over the country, from all over the world, to be at New England Wildlife Center, and that's how you got to know us, right? However many
Yes.
Many years ago.
I learned of the Wildlife Center when I was very young and kind of came around a few times, like you were saying, like people do. And I did the internship back in high school, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Clearly, I came back. The Wildlife Center it really is a family. People tend to come back, but the internship, it is so informative.
Sure.
You are feeding the wildlife, you're taking care of them, cleaning up, all of the very fun and maybe not so fun aspects of wildlife care.
Part of it, though, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but again, the two big stories we want to talk about today, become a member, your different membership levels that are available. Go to the website for that, or your STEM summer program, which kicks off tomorrow and runs every Tuesday through September 15th.
And we have to tell you how to become a member, too.
Yes, just go to your website, right?
Go to our website, anywildlife.org, and sign up, or call Brett and go to her, or email Brett at brett.hale@newildlife.org.
All right. Have a very happy and safe summer. Thank you both for coming by.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're very welcome. It's our pleasure. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. It'd be nice to visit the Wildlife Center, I think. The rain's holding off for now. Temperatures in the low 70s this afternoon. The rain moves in probably tonight in earnest, overnight mostly, with temperatures dipping down to the mid-60s. The rain will last into tomorrow morning and taper off to some showers. It gets brighter and drier here on Wednesday, and we're back into full-time summer mode here by Thursday with highs near 90 degrees. Thanks again to Katrina Bergman and Hale for joining us from the New England Wildlife Center. Thank you to our crew. Thank you for watching. This coming Friday, we welcome Ron Iacobucci from the Mass Hire South Shore Career Center here in Quincy. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. You'll find all of our latest programs, along with news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.